across the nations and regions. From everyone on the team here, a very good night.
Good evening. Halifax Town have lifted the FA Trophy at Wembley time in their history. Tonight they won 1-0 against Gateshead. Thousands of fans were celebrating after Jamie Cook's goal in the 43rd minute sealed it, 7 years on from their first victory at Wembley. Players and the Halifax manager spoke to Look North this evening.
Never in a million years did I believe, I'd be getting game at Wembley and scoring a winner in a trophy final, never mind. It's been absolutely surreal.
It's electric, the boys are enjoying a drink or two and well deserved. So, the will stick with us and we'll keep it close tonight, and he'll party with us right through.
In other news, a woman from North Yorkshire who was trapped in war-torn Sudan says she's lucky to be alive. Emily Keel from Norton near Moulton had been working for the United Nations when the recent conflict broke out. Well, Emily is now home and reunited with her family. Phil Connell reports.
Normally, the route out of Khartoum to Port Sudan takes 12 hours driving, but it took us almost 3 times that.
Safe and well, she's at last back home in North Yorkshire. And for Emily Keel and her mum Di, there's lots to catch up on.
We've heard stories about people having to pay a huge amount of money to get over the border.
Emily's escape from war-torn Sudan took 8 days, a treacherous journey by road, plane and ferry. Prior to that, she was lucky to survive several days of bombing close to the flat she shared in Khartoum.
The times where I thought that we wouldn't make it were definitely in my apartment when we were under really heavy bombardment. At one point, we had gunfire in the garden. That was the point really where we felt it was touch and go.
For Emily's mum Di, who's the mayor of Norton, it's been a stressful few weeks. Today, though, there was huge relief and overwhelming pride.
I just can only admire her for her resilience and the fact that she's still determined. People she's left behind.
Emily had spent almost a year in Sudan working as a development officer for the United Nations. During that time, she'd made many close friends, and leaving them behind, she says, was a difficult wrench.
I definitely feel lucky to be alive and to have been evacuated and had the opportunity to be evacuated, because there are so many others who have been left behind.
Emily Keel there talking to Phil Connell. A West Yorkshire MP is calling for asylum seekers caught up in a Home Office backlog to be allowed to work. Tens of thousands of people are waiting for a decision on their applications, and they're not allowed to apply for most jobs while they wait. Well, 2 asylum seekers in Bradford say they've spent years living in limbo.
If the Home Office is still... I'm not allowed to work, I'm not allowed to do a lot of things I want to do in my life.
Just give us a chance to do something and you will see. Yeah, that's my message. Give us a chance.
The Halifax MP says the government is missing out on a chance to benefit the country's workforce.
We've already had problems and pressures in the asylum system, which has led to the government having to, because of its own failures, make more and more use of emergency accommodation, so the use of hotels in our town centres, and that's not good for anybody. As you've just heard, there are people here incredibly capable, and we could be unlocking that potential should they have the right to work in the UK.
The government says it's taken on an extra 1,250 staff to tackle the backlog. There's more on this story on Politics North on the BBC iPlayer. Now, hundreds of men wearing tweed suits have been driving around Leeds on classic motorbikes this afternoon. It's part of a worldwide charity event called the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. They're raising money for the Men's Mental Health and Prostate Cancer charity Movember. Now it's time to take a look at the weather. Here's Abby Dewhurst.
Hello there. A mostly dry and settled week of weather to come next week. Just the risk, I think, of a couple of isolated showers and a little bit more cloud tomorrow. But overnight tonight, it'll be largely dry and clear, so temperatures are going to drop off to around 4 or 5 degrees Celsius. Quite a cool start to the day tomorrow, with the risk of a little bit of mist and fog. That lifting, sunny spells tomorrow morning, and then cloud gradually pushing its way in from the northwest with 1 or 2 isolated showers. Temperatures for tomorrow, 21, perhaps 22 degrees Celsius, and staying very mild through the rest of the week.
Good night.